The betrayal and awakening. They thought humanity would bow. They were wrong. For decades, Earth had been the galactic newcomer, the fledgling civilization knocking at the doors of the Galactic Council. Humanity had stretched beyond Sol, establishing colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan, developing technology that allowed us to reach nearby stars. Yet the Council, a federation of 17 advanced species, kept Earth at arm's length, allowing limited trade but denying full membership. Ambassador Elena Reyes was supposed to change that. The daughter of a quantum physicist and a diplomat, she possessed both brilliance and charisma. Her appointment as Earth's envoy to the Council had brought hope. After years of preparation and negotiation, she had secured an audience at Centauri Prime, the gleaming capital world where the Council deliberated. "We don't seek charity or special treatment," she had said in her last transmission home. "We come as equals, offering partnership and perspective. The Council will see our worth." Her smile had been genuine, her eyes bright with hope. That was the last time Earth saw her alive. 3 days after her arrival, emergency broadcasts lit up communication channels across human space. The Galactic Council's transmission was crisp, formal, and devastating. Ambassador Elena Reyes had been arrested for espionage, sedition, and attempted sabotage of Council security systems. On Earth, governments scrambled. Records were reviewed, communications analyzed. There was nothing, no evidence, no motive, no reason for Reyes to jeopardize everything humanity had worked for. "This is impossible," declared United Earth President Kazuo Yamamoto in an emergency address. "We demand due process, transparency, and immediate communication with our envoy." The Council's response came swiftly. A trial would be held. Earth could observe but not participate. The decision would be final. What followed wasn't justice but theater. The trial lasted 6 hours. The evidence was sealed. Ambassador Reyes, once poised and confident, appeared haggard and disoriented on the broadcast feed. She denied all charges, her voice growing hoarse as the proceedings continued. "I came in peace," she said, her final statement broadcast across human colonies. "I came to build bridges, not to burn them. Whatever you think you found, whatever you believe I've done, it's wrong. Earth deserves a place at your table. We deserve." Her feed cut abruptly. When it resumed, the Council arbiter, a towering Valaxian with iridescent scales, read the verdict. Guilty on all counts. The sentence, immediate execution, to be carried out publicly as a deterrent against future human transgressions. Earth watched in horror as Elena Reyes was led to a circular platform. No blindfold, no final words, just the cold hiss of a particle beam and the ambassador's body crumpling to the ground. The transmission ended without ceremony. For 24 hours, Earth fell silent. Communications ceased. Trade stopped. Military bases went dark. Then came the response, not from governments or armies, but from a hidden facility beneath the Antarctic ice, a facility that officially didn't exist. Director Mira Chen stood before Earth's most classified project, the Phantom Fleet, 50 warships constructed in secret over 15 years, equipped with technology the Council believed humans were decades from mastering. "They thought us primitive." Chen addressed the assembled commanders, her voice steady despite the rage in her eyes. "They thought us weak and divided. They executed our ambassador to teach us humility. Today, we teach them fear." Operation Reckoning launched without declaration. The Phantom Fleet, using jump point technology the Council believed impossible for humans, materialized simultaneously at 7 strategic locations across Council space. The first target was Helios Station, the Council's premier military research facility. Commander Jackson Cole led the assault, his vessel, the UES Nemesis, emerging from jump space directly above the station's central hub. "This is Commander Cole of Earth Fleet." His transmission reached every deck of the station. "Evacuate all personnel. You have 15 minutes." The station commander, a Truscan general, responded with disbelief. then threats. Earth possesses no such capabilities. Your deception is. Cole cut the transmission. 14 minutes later, the Nemesis opened fire, not on the station, but on its defensive grid. Precision strikes disabled weapons, communications, and propulsion systems. When the 15-minute mark arrived, Cole's team boarded the defenseless station. No shots were fired. No lives were taken. The Earth team downloaded the station's complete database, planted Earth's flag in the command center, and departed, leaving the stunned personnel unharmed but humiliated. Similar scenes played out across Council space. On Vega Prime, Earth forces neutralized the Council's long-range sensor array. At Nexus Junction, they seized control of a vital trade route. Outside the mining colony of Dural, they intercepted a Council military transport carrying advanced weapons. In each case, the pattern was the same: overwhelming force, minimal casualties, maximum psychological impact. Earth wasn't seeking vengeance through bloodshed. They sought to send a message. You misjudged us. You underestimated us. You will not do so again. The Council, accustomed to being the unchallenged power in the galaxy, was thrown into chaos. Emergency sessions were called. Accusations flew between member species. How had humans developed such technology? Who had helped them? How had Council intelligence failed so completely? President Yamamoto addressed humanity as reports of the operations flooded in. We sought peace. We extended friendship. In return, the Council murdered our ambassador. They believed this would cow us into submission. Instead, it has awakened us. His eyes, normally kind, had hardened to obsidian. From this day forward, Earth will no longer petition for inclusion in a corrupt system. We will no longer accept second-class status in the galaxy. The Council executed Ambassador Reyes to demonstrate their power. We will now demonstrate ours. On the 8th day after Reyes' execution, Earth unveiled the next phase of Operation Reckoning. A quantum-encrypted message was broadcast simultaneously to every Council world. It contained only two elements: the complete recording of Elena Reyes' final moments, unedited and raw, and a single sentence: justice comes for all. That same day, Council Arbiter Thelox, the official who had sentenced Reyes, disappeared from his heavily guarded estate on Volax. No alarms were triggered. No struggle was detected. He simply vanished, leaving behind only a small Earth flag placed on his desk. 2 days later, he reappeared on the steps of the Council chamber, alive but shaken. Around his neck hung a data crystal containing evidence that Reyes had been framed by Council security forces under his direct command. They could have killed me, he told the assembled Council members, his scales dulled with fear. They showed me proof of my crimes. They said mercy is humanity's strength, not its weakness. They said next time, there will be no mercy. The Council's fragile unity fractured. The Draxians, long skeptical of anti-human policies, demanded a formal apology to Earth. The Valorian Confederacy, Earth's closest trading partner, suspended their Council membership in protest. 3 other species followed suit within days. As Council space descended into diplomatic chaos, Earth continued its calculated campaign. Not through further military action, but through information. The data seized from Helios Station revealed decades of Council manipulation, not just against humans, but against dozens of emerging civilizations. Commander Cole's team discovered something even more damning: records indicating that human technology had been deliberately sabotaged by Council operatives on multiple occasions, keeping Earth dependent on Council trade while preventing true advancement. These revelations, strategically released to both Council and non-Council worlds, ignited a galactic reckoning. Species that had trusted the Council for centuries began questioning everything. Those who had suffered similar treatment found their voice, emboldened by Earth's stand. Beneath the Antarctic ice, Director Chen monitored the unfolding chaos with grim satisfaction. On the wall of her office hung a portrait of Elena Reyes. "They thought your death would silence us," Chen whispered to the image. Instead, it gave us a voice that will echo across the stars for generations. The first phase of humanity's awakening was complete. The Council was splintering. Alliances were shifting. And Earth, once dismissed as a primitive backwater, had emerged as a force that could no longer be ignored. But Operation Reckoning was just beginning. Deep within the Phantom Fleet's flagship, technicians prepared for the deployment of Project Phoenix, a technology so revolutionary, so devastating, that its mere existence would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity had been pushed too far. The vengeance mode was fully activated, and the galaxy would never be the same. The reckoning and resolution. The Council's response came 3 weeks after Earth's initial strikes. A coalition fleet, hastily assembled from loyal member species, launched a desperate counteroffensive against Earth's colonies on Europa. They expected minimal resistance. What they encountered was catastrophic. The moment Council vessels entered the Jupiter system, they triggered Earth's defensive grid, an invisible network of quantum mines and automated defense platforms. 7 capital ships were crippled within minutes. The remaining vessels retreated in disarray, their commanders stunned by technology they hadn't believed possible. On Centauri Prime, the Council's emergency assembly dissolved into accusations and recriminations. The Valaxian delegation blamed intelligence failures. The Truscan military representatives demanded more aggressive action. The moderate factions called for immediate peace negotiations. "We cannot defeat what we do not understand," warned Delegate Ixora of the Cerulean Enclave, the oldest council member. Humans were never primitive. They were patient. "We have awakened something we cannot control." Her warnings went unheeded. The Council's military command, unwilling to accept defeat, authorized a direct assault on Earth itself. 20 dreadnoughts, the backbone of Council enforcement, were dispatched to the Sol system with orders to establish orbital dominance and force humanity's surrender. They never arrived. Halfway to their destination, the entire Council fleet vanished from sensors. No distress signals, no debris field, no explanation. They had entered jump space and simply failed to emerge. Earth offered no comment on the disappearance, but across human colonies, citizens gathered in silent vigils, holding pictures of the Linnaeus and single candles. They sought no vengeance through destruction. Their justice was more profound and more terrifying. 3 days later, the missing fleet reappeared, not near Earth, but in orbit around Centauri Prime itself. Each massive vessel was intact but powerless, drifting silently above the Council's capital. When boarding parties reached the ships, they found them completely empty. 20,000 Council personnel had vanished without trace. Fear swept through Council space. If humans could seize an entire battle fleet without firing a shot, what else were they capable of? The answer came in the form of Project Phoenix. Commander Maya Singh, the architect of Earth's quantum communications network, addressed the galaxy on a channel that overrode all Council frequencies. "For too long, the Council has ruled through fear and manipulation," she began, her dark eyes unwavering. "You executed our ambassador to demonstrate your power. Now we will demonstrate true power, not through destruction, but through truth." What followed was unprecedented. Project Phoenix wasn't a weapon in the conventional sense. It was a technology that rendered all communication encryption obsolete. With a single broadcast, Earth exposed every secret communication between Council leaders for the past 50 years. The data flood was overwhelming. Council species learned how their representatives had betrayed them. Trade agreements based on lies were exposed. Military actions against innocent civilizations were brought to light. The Council's carefully constructed image of benevolent leadership crumbled in hours. "We do not seek to destroy the Council," Singh continued as the revelations spread. "We seek to transform it. The galaxy deserves governance based on truth and equity, not manipulation and fear." The psychological impact was devastating. Council worlds erupted in protests. Governments fell. Military commanders refused orders. What Earth couldn't achieve through force, they accomplished through transparency. Director Chen, monitoring from Antarctica, received the reports with quiet satisfaction. Phase 2 complete, she noted in the operation log. Proceeding to final stage. That stage began with an invitation. Earth requested a meeting, not with the Council as an institution, but with representatives of each member species. The location: the neutral space station Harmony, constructed by Earth in the unclaimed territory between major galactic powers. The remaining Council leadership, desperate to regain control, accepted. They expected negotiations, demands, perhaps even surrender terms. They found something entirely different. The Earth delegation was led not by military commanders or hardened diplomats, but by Dr. Lian Santos, a xenosociologist who had studied Council cultures for decades. Beside her stood representatives from human colonies across the solar system, reflecting Earth's diversity. "We did not come to dictate terms," Dr. Santos began, her voice gentle but firm. "We came to propose a new beginning." Earth's proposal was revolutionary: dissolution of the current Council structure and creation of a new galactic assembly where all species, regardless of technological development or military power, would have equal representation. The old Council failed because it was built on hierarchy and secrecy, Santos explained. The assembly will be founded on transparency and partnership. No species will stand above others. No civilization will be denied a voice. The Council representatives were stunned. They had expected retribution, demands for reparations, perhaps even planetary surrender. Instead, humans were offering a path forward, not just for themselves, but for every species. "What of our missing personnel?" demanded the Truscan representative, his voice sharp with suspicion. "What of our fleet?" In response, Dr. Santos activated a holographic display. It showed a pristine Earth colony on Titan, newly constructed and waiting. "Your people are there, safe and unarmed. They have been shown the truth about Council leadership and given a choice: return to their former positions or help build something better." She paused, letting the implications sink in. 3/4 have chosen to stay. The revelation sent shockwaves through the delegation. The Council's most loyal servants, given freedom and truth, had abandoned the very institution they once defended. As the negotiations continued, Earth gradually revealed the full extent of their capabilities. The Phantom Fleet was merely the surface of human technological advancement. Their quantum communication network, their jump point navigation system, their energy generation, all had been developed in secret while the Council believed humans were struggling with basic interplanetary travel. "We hid our progress not out of deception," explained Commander Cole, who joined the delegation on the third day, "but out of necessity. We studied Council history. We saw how you treated species who developed too quickly. The evidence was irrefutable. The Council had deliberately undermined at least 7 civilizations that had shown rapid technological advancement, fearing competition to their authority. By the 7th day of negotiations, the old Council structure had been officially dissolved. In its place, the framework for the Galactic Assembly took shape, a true democracy spanning thousands of worlds. Elena Reyes' name was the first inscribed in the Assembly's founding charter. Her execution, meant to subjugate humanity, had instead ignited a transformation that would reshape galactic civilization for millennia. 1 year later, Director Chen stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, watching delegates from over 30 species converge for the Assembly's inaugural session. Beside her, President Yamamoto surveyed the same scene. "Was it worth it?" he asked quietly. "All the planning, the secrecy, the resources we poured into the Phantom Fleet when our people needed those resources elsewhere." Chen's gaze didn't waver from the gathering below. "Ask them," she said, gesturing to the diverse representatives taking their places in the assembly chamber. "Ask the species who now have a voice for the first time. Ask the civilizations who no longer live in fear of Council intervention." She turned to face him directly. "Or ask Elena's parents. Ask them if their daughter's sacrifice has meaning now." Yamamoto nodded slowly. "And the missing Council fleet personnel who chose to stay on Titan?" "Thriving," Chen replied. "It turns out, when you remove fear and coercion, most sentient beings actually prefer cooperation to domination. They're helping us build something unprecedented. A community based on mutual respect rather than power hierarchies." Below them, the assembly chamber fell silent as a holographic image appeared above the central podium. The face of Elena Reyes, serene and determined. "They executed our envoy," Chen said softly. "We responded not by executing theirs, but by fulfilling her mission. She sought to build bridges between worlds. In her memory, we've built something far greater, a new foundation for our shared future among the stars." As the inaugural session began, a message spread across communication channels throughout the galaxy. From the sacrifice of one came justice for all. The Elena Reyes Galactic Assembly is now in session. Humanity had been underestimated. Humanity had been wronged. But in the end, humanity's greatest strength wasn't vengeance, it was vision. The Council had executed an envoy to demonstrate their power. Earth had transformed a galaxy to demonstrate true leadership. The vengeance mode, once activated, had evolved into something far more powerful: creation. And among the stars, watching over the new beginning they had forged, the ships of the Phantom Fleet stood guard. A silent reminder that humanity would never again be dismissed, never again be subjugated, and never again stand idle in the face of injustice. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity had found its place. And Elena Reyes, though gone, lived on in the peace her sacrifice had ultimately created.